All right, everybody. Hey, listen, we are so glad that you are here on this great Saturday. Man, what an honor it is to have you in our house. I'm Garrett Booth. I'm the pastor here at Grace. And like I said, it's our honor that you're here. We're excited about what's going to happen today, and certainly excited about really the movement that you're going to hear about today. And so here's what I like to do. I want to get out of the way, and I want you to give a great, fantastic, warm Houston, Texas welcome to Mark Cole, the president of John Maxwell Enterprises. Mark.
You got that. Hello, Houston. You guys are already good. I got it. We are so excited. I just got to ask something. Who in here is a part of Garrett and Andrea's team here at the church? Let me see. I want you to stand up. I know you're going to scream. I want you to stand up. I want you to stand up. If you're on the team here, if you're part of this organization, you're part of this church, I want you to stand up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Look at this. Garrett, way to go, buddy. Way to go. Hey, thank you. Thanks for having us. We appreciate that. Gang, it is good to be with you right now. In literally 2 minutes, we're going live. I just saw there's already almost 600 people waiting to come in. Over the next 24 hours, there will be between 28 and 40,000 people from over 100 nations join this room with us, okay? You think the room's big enough? It's a pretty big room. Are you ready to go here in Houston? Ready to go. Ready to go. It's going to be a great evening. Again, thank you so much for hosting us. We're very excited about this evening. Let me know. Welcome to the Change Your World book tour. We are live in Houston, Texas, and I've got a bunch of Texans that wants to welcome you into Houston. Yeah, that's right. We're on a tour. It's really not a book tour. We're going to talk a lot about a book that John Maxwell and Rob Hoskins wrote, but it's really about a movement tour. It's a tour that we want to engage you to change your world. We believe when there are hundreds of thousands of women and men just like you watching in over 100 nations, we believe when you determine that you're going to change your world, we will change the world. That's why we wrote the book. That's why they wrote the book. I just jumped right in with you guys right there. That's why they wrote the book, and the team that I represent created an environment for you and I to join together in small groups to change our world. In fact, if you want to simplify the message tonight that we're trying to deliver to you, there's really 3 simple things that I want to challenge you with. This is the place where you grab the pen, grab the notepad, and you write down. If you're on the chat box, you're in the online community, this is where you start typing feverishly. Because I want you to get the book. 2, I want you to take an assessment. We have created, over the last 9 months, we have been working on an assessment that will rate you on how you score on the 25 transformation values in the book, Change Your World. We give you a baseline. Then we challenge you to do the 3rd step, which is to join the movement. Get in a transformation table, get into a community, and watch how transformation begins on the inside and works to the outside of your world. Get the book, take the assessment, it's absolutely free, and join the movement. You can do all of that at changeyourworld.com. Here in Houston, changeyourworld.com. Those of you in Indonesia, India, Indiana, changeyourworld.com. We are so excited tonight to bring to you, and I say tonight, but it's this morning for many of you, we're excited to bring to you the 2 authors of the book, Change Your World. The first man that I want to talk about is Rob Hoskins. Now I'm going to bring John Maxwell up here in just a moment, and he's going to teach tonight and give you some things that will help you in your leadership journey. After John is done speaking, Rob Hoskins will come up, and I can't wait for you to hear from Rob Hoskins. Because Rob and his organization has put transformation leadership values into the hands of over 1.7 billion young people. I heard some wows. I did. I don't know if you can clap. That's good. All 2 of you over there. That's really good. I don't know if the wow was because of the 1.7 billion or because a guy from Georgia can actually think billion. But I'll tell you whichever one it is staggering what One Hope, Rob Hoskins' organization, has done. But even more staggering is the intentionality he has put to quantifiably, qualitatively demonstrate transformation in those young people. You're going to hear from Rob in just a little bit. But before we bring up Rob, I want to bring up no stranger to you and I, a guy named John Maxwell, who has written over 86 books about leadership, growth, relationship, things that will make you a better leader. He has 34 million copies of books in people's hands all around the world. 34 million. You know how we know? He's counting. Because it's all about impact. From him, from the first book to the 86th book, it's been with you in mind, because he wants to start a journey with you to make a difference. Will you help me welcome John C. Maxwell?
Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Good afternoon. Oh, we'll do that again. Good afternoon. So nice to be here with you in Houston. My name's John. I'm your friend. On the count of 3, give me your name. 1, 2, 3. Nice to meet you. Great to be with Garrett and Andrea. Just delighted. These are wonderful friends, and they and their congregation have opened up this beautiful, beautiful auditorium for us to have our book tour. So let's just thank the congregation here for opening up their doors for us. It's just beautiful. Thank you for all of your goodness and all of your kindness to us. And as I thought about our time together today, we're very excited. Rob and I are very excited about Change Your World, and you're going to hear a lot about it. But I thought I would like to give you something that's not in the book. And I thought I would like to talk to you about something really that I've never taught before until we started the book tour a couple of days ago. And if I could give a title to the lesson, I would entitle it 5 Questions I Ask During a Difficult Time. As a leader, when we're going through a difficult time, there are just 5 questions, simple questions that I ask myself so that I can help people, add value to them, and lead them better. I think we all know 2020 was not a great year, okay? If you don't understand that, we have other issues that we need to deal with today. And 2021 isn't starting off to be a great year either. And so when we look at our environment, our situation, how do we help people? How do we lead them? How do we add value to them? And I think that the starting point for leaders is always asking themselves questions that I ask myself, which enables me then to lead others in a better way. A few years ago, I wrote a book called Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And this was a very popular, it still is a very popular book with leaders, because most of the time we think of leaders giving direction and pointing to the hill and saying, charge it, but we don't think of leaders so many times maybe asking questions. But the questions I would ask of you are secondary to the questions I would ask of me, because my greatest challenge in leading people is not leading you, it's leading me. And if I can lead myself well and be the example that you need, because people do what people see, then we're going to do really, really well. And I just want to stop here right now because I'm about ready to give you question number 1. But before I do, I just have to tell you, I'm already enjoying you immensely. I'm enjoying you immensely because, I mean, from where I am, every one of you, I mean, you got your head, you're taking notes. I mean, you're already prepared to learn and develop. And I'm a teacher, and there's no reward to a teacher greater than a responsive audience and people that are there. And this is, I don't know, we've done this now several days, so we've been to a lot of cities, okay? But we've done quite a few events. I've never started off with any group that was so much into taking notes as you. I'll have to say, of the, 8 places, 10 places, how many places we've been, you are the best in starting off, ready to go and take notes. Yeah, you're the best. Absolutely. I mean, you're there. You're all there. Now, we're going to see if you can end well, too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All's well that begins well, and all's well that ends well. In fact, let me do another 1-minute teaching. This I haven't given this anywhere else. Let me give it to you. And why am I giving it to you? Because you're a great audience, and you're already pulling stuff out of me that I haven't even taught before. But I call these the bookends of success. And the bookends of success are preparation on the front end and reflection on the back end. All's well that begins well. That's preparation. That's the setup time. Of course, the reflection time is after you're finished. It's kind of like, now what do I do with what I have learned? Reflection turns experience into insight. And so whenever you and I reflect, what happens in our life is that we begin to highlight the things that we are learning and the things that we are experiencing within ourselves. And so with that kind of the foundation, I would really like to share with you the 5 questions that I ask myself. And these are all simple. All these questions are very easy to ask, and they're not difficult to even answer, but they're very important. And what I love about it is every one of you in the auditorium, all of you online from many, many countries, and we're so glad to have you joining us online, these questions you can ask yourself and you can do. So what I want you to do before I give you question number 1 is I want you to look at your neighbor and say to them, even you can do this. Could you tell them that, okay? Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's right. That's right. I'm going to have you do it again because you just didn't do it quite right. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're doing this together. When you do it, you look at them and get a little surprised look on your face like, and then you go, even you can do this. Do you see how that is? Really emphasize the like even you. You got that? You got it. I can tell you. Okay, go ahead. Tell your neighbor right now, huh? Oh. That is so good. I just love you. And didn't you just enjoy saying, and you, even you can do this. Here we go. Question number 1. And I'm going to give it to you in sequence. There's a process here. Question number 1. What do I feel? What am I feeling? Whenever there's a difficult time, a COVID-19, just a crisis, the first thing I ask myself as a leader is what am I feeling? And I ask that question twofold. I ask that question because I want to get in touch with myself and what I'm truly feeling so that I can get in touch with my people and what they are truly feeling. This is a question of emotional connection. This is where you connect with people because during a difficult time, the predominant feeling that a person has is the feeling of emotion, and usually it's discouragement or they're asking questions or surprise, depression. What am I feeling? What are you feeling? And the reason I love this question is that this allows us to find common ground. Because when people go through a difficult time, the first thing they want to know is if someone else is going through that difficult time too. Misery loves company. It just does, always has. And so there's a connection immediately when, as a leader, you say, yeah, this is tough. I've got some questions. I was surprised by this. I didn't see this coming. Wow, it took the wind out of me. Now, the moment that you start talking like that to your people, they immediately began to feel and sense that you understand. And I wish I could express to you what happens in a person's life when their leader understands what they're going through. Many, many years ago, I made a quote, and it's become quite famous now. I see it all the time. And it's an old quote, okay? It's like 40 years old, okay? But at this age, everything I've got is old, okay? So there's nothing new there, but it's an old quote, but it's so true. And it's this: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's the way it works. The moment that I know that you care, now all of a sudden, I'm interested in what you know, but I'm not interested in knowledge until I find compassion, until I receive it. And the connecting ground with people as a leader is the fact that I feel what you feel, I understand we're in this together. The moment that I can establish that relationship with them, and I call that the connecting part of the relationship. You see, leaders have to find the people before they can lead the people. And so the moment that I assure you that I understand and that I feel this and yes, this is not easy and this is difficult and I have questions too, now all of a sudden we're on common ground, which allows me to then begin to ask myself the other 4 questions and then begin to lead you effectively. But the first question is just very simple. What am I feeling? What are they feeling? How do I emotionally connect with the people where they are? The second question that I ask myself is, what do I see? Now, this is a leadership question. Honestly, the first question, that could be a friendship question. That's the way we emotionally connect with people. But what leaders know is that the way they help their people and add value to people is to help them see things that they haven't seen before and enable them later on to do things they haven't done before. That's what leaders do. And so I ask myself, okay, what am I seeing? And here's what I know about leaders, and here's what I know about people that are not leaders. Whenever a difficult time and conflict and difficulty comes in our life, adversity, the tendency for our picture is for it to shrink. It gets smaller. It doesn't get bigger for most people. And the reason for that is the moment bad things begin to happen to people, the first thing I do is instead of worrying and thinking about you, I think about myself and I say, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to get sick? Am I going to lose my job? The world gets very small because it just basically is a picture. The only picture I can see is me. Where a leader during difficult times, his or her picture expands because they know if they're going to be light to their people, if they're going to provide answers for their people, if they're going to be able to show a path for their people, they know that they have to see a bigger picture than just what's going to happen to me. Immaturity is basically defined, an immature person sees everything from their perspective. That's why they're immature. And so whatever is happening to them, the perspective that they see and experience is from their eyes only. And so their perspective is very small. It's just my perspective. A mature person, what makes them mature is they have not only their perspective that they see, but they also have the perspective of others. They see how others feel about something, and they see how others think about something, and their world is bigger than themselves. And the reason this, what do I see, is such an important question is because you and I as leaders have to help our people expand their picture. You will hear Rob and I today as we talk about Change Your World. You'll hear us talk about the difference between success and significance. Success pretty much is about what I have done in my life, my career, how I've provided for my family, where I work, what I do, what my house is. I mean, success is all about, is pretty much about me. And by the way, I want you all to be successful in life. I want you to do well. So I'm very excited about your success. But let me just say this. I want you to be able to not only be successful, I want you to be significant. You see, success is all about me, and significance is all about you. It's all about others. A person of significance, their world is a bigger world. Their picture is a bigger picture. They see themselves, but they also see others. And what makes them so significant is they think of others and they ask themselves continually, how can I add value to them? How can I serve them? How can I make their world bigger? Robert Louis Stevenson said, the success of my day is based upon the seeds I sow, not the harvest I reap. In other words, what he said was that my picture of myself is a big picture, and I'm constantly serving, giving, adding value. Now, that's a challenge for many of us, especially during a difficult time, because we are basically selfish. We just are, okay? And when I said we, I said me. We are basically selfish. The person you're sitting beside has a natural selfishness about them. Now, you already know that, and you don't want to tell them that. But they do. That person beside you has that, yeah, they do. And that person beside you that has that selfishness, they're right now thinking about you. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I was talking about relationships and adding value, and I literally had a person walk up to me and tell me that they have never been selfish. They said, I'm not selfish, I've never been selfish. And I just looked at them and I thought to myself as I looked at them talking about they've never been selfish, I thought, oh my, you're looking at a delusional person right now. Of course you're selfish. If you don't think you're selfish, let me ask you a question. The next time somebody takes a picture of you, maybe you have a group, 7 or 8 of you, and you're in the group, and somebody takes a picture, and you see the picture, let me just ask you a question. Who is the first person in that picture you look for? And if you look good, great picture, great picture. Hey, send that to me. Yeah, oh yeah, come on, get that. I need that picture. Get that one. Yeah, oh, great picture. And if you don't look good, oh my gosh, hey, do it again, do it, come on, let's do it again, come on, let's do it again. You judge the whole picture based on you. How are we doing? How many of you might be a tad selfish? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that was 2/3 of you. The third that didn't raise your hand, you can now leave, because I have nothing to add value to you today, that's for sure. Because how do you help a delusional person, huh? Now, we're all selfish. And so when I ask myself about the picture, what I'm really doing is I'm asking myself, okay, how can I help people see beyond themselves as a leader? That's the key. So, what do I feel? What do I see? The third question is, what do I think? Okay. Now that we're in a difficult time, what do I need to think on? Now, that's a very important question, because during conflict, crisis, and adversity, thinking becomes something that doesn't happen very much. People really, when the press is on, there's a tendency for them not to spend a lot of time really thinking. And this is what I call the leadership edge. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people is how they think. I call that the success gap. I can promise you the biggest gap between people that do well and people who don't do well is how they think. I wrote a book several years ago called How Successful People Think. It just took me a while, okay? I've written 86. Give me patience, okay? Besides, I'm an old man. But writing 86 books really is no big deal either. You do understand that. I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, you just have to be old. If you're not old, you can't write that many books. Isn't that right, huh? So you just have to be old. But when I wrote the book on how successful people think, I began to understand that there's a tremendous gap between people who do well and don't do well, and it's almost always in thinking. For example, during a testing time in your life or my life, and when we're maybe going to try to do something, there are 2 questions that we are tempted to ask ourselves, and one question will not serve us well, and one question will do very well in serving us. The first question a lot of people ask during a difficult time is they ask the question, can I? Oh my gosh, can I? Can I make it through this time? Can I? And the word can I, or the little phrase can I, 2 words, that always leaves us a little bit short, because it allows us to find a reason why we can't do it, or it allows us to find an excuse. Can I leaves the door open for not attempting something. But if we just put one word in front of can I, everything changes. I'm talking about how you think, how you talk. If I just go from the phrase can I to the phrase how can I? Now, do you see the difference immediately? How can I? You've already determined you're going to do it. So that's not the question. The question is not, are you going to do it? You've already determined that. If you're just going to ask yourself, am I going to do it? You ask the word, can I? But the moment you say, how can I? You've already determined that you're going to do it. Now you just got to figure out how you're going to do it. And when I lead people, I want to make sure that I help them think in terms of how can I? Because what I know is that if I can get them understanding that there's possibilities out there and they begin to think possibility, all of a sudden, life begins to get better. One of the things I have taught when COVID-19 hit, I started going on, and people could go online and they could hear me every Monday. For I don't know, maybe 3 months, I would do about a 30-minute teaching every Monday on how to get through the crisis, and we literally had millions and millions of people follow us during that time. I mean, everybody was tuning in, and I was doing my best to coach them and lead them and add value to them and help them, and it was really a good time. In fact, Mark and I and our team on our little book tour, we've been talking about it, and I've made a decision while I'm on the tour that I'm going to go back to Florida. I'm going to get back in the studio, and every Monday, probably starting about the 3rd or 4th week of February. You got to give me about a few weeks. But every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to do 20 minutes just to come into your life, and you can just go online. It's totally free, and I'm going to talk to you about how to do well during this time. And I'm going to father you. I'm going to lead you. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to come alongside of you. I'm going to be your friend, and we're just going to have Mondays with Maxwell. Okay? And would that be all right? Would you like Mondays with Maxwell? Yeah. And we're going to do it. And we'll have Mondays with Maxwell, and I want you to come and be a part. It would just be 20 minutes every week, just trying to help us to do better. Because I want to help you. I want to help you see a bigger picture. I want to help you to have hope in your feelings. And I want you to think about the possibilities. So what do I feel? What do I see? What do I think? Question number 4. Before I give you question number 4, I have to ask you a question. Are you learning something? How are you doing? Are you learning something? Okay, this is good. Let me just say something. As I'm teaching you, what's amazing is I'm looking at you and I can tell that you get it. And that's incredible. I can just tell you get it, and that's just encouraging to me, but just confidentially, just between the two of us, I just want to say one thing. I know I can see that you get it. You're in there, you're taking notes, and you just are, you got it. How do I say this? The person on your left, they're just not quite as smart as you are. And you know what's amazing? I'm looking at you right now. Guess what you're doing? First thing you did is look at your person on your left, and you're going, how did he know? How did he know? I know, trust me, I know. So before I gave you question number 4, we've got to give encouragement to the person on your left, okay? We don't want to leave them behind. We don't want to leave them behind. That's not the thing to do. So what I want you to do is on the person on your left, just look at them and just say very kindly to them, it's okay, I'll help you. Go ahead and tell them, I'll help you. I'll help you, okay? Oh, that's good. Are you ready for question number 4? No. The question is the person on your left? Are they ready for question number 4? Okay, okay. This is good. And by the way, if you're on the right, when you write the question down, every once in a while, just slide it over. Just slide it over, okay? Question number 4. Well, let's go back. What do I feel? What do I see? What do I think? Question number 4. What do I know? What do I know? The reason this question is so important is when uncertainty is in a person's life, they become very insecure. And in their insecurity, often, they lack confidence. And what they need is to get in an environment where leadership has a confidence, not a cockiness, a confidence of what they know. Now, let's start right off and let me just say this. There are a lot of things during dark times we don't know. Okay, when COVID-19 hit, if I was asked once, I was asked 10,000 times, when's COVID-19 going to be over? I don't know. Still don't know. In fact, if somebody comes and tells you they know, run from them. They don't know. And it's okay to be able to say, well, I don't know that. But what I want you to catch is, what people need during a difficult time is they need to know, and here's what I know. When I ask my question, what do I know? Here's what I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. I know that there's an answer. There's always an answer. Now, I may not have the answer yet, but I know there is an answer, and that confidence of knowing that that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that we will come through this, that we're going to be okay. That knowledge, that gives me a security and a confidence to begin to lead other people, and they feed off of that security. They feed off of that confidence. They grow off of that themselves. What do I know? Now, as I've gotten older, I'm 73. As I've gotten older, I have less certainties today at 73 than I had at 23. At 23, I was awesome. In fact, I look back at my age at 23 and I'm amazed. Because I had answers for everything. I was so confident. I was so sure. People would ask me questions. I was Mr. Answer Man. I just go around answering people and blessing people. Yeah, I was really good. But life knocks the certainties out of you. It just does. We find as we go through life that what we thought we know, we really didn't know. I mean, when I was for 25 years a pastor, and when I was a young pastor before Margaret and I had children, honest to God, I had 4 of the greatest messages on how to raise children. And then we had children. Yeah. And Elizabeth, when we had Elizabeth, I still had powerful messages on how to raise children because she was just the easiest child. I mean, oh my gosh. I'd look at other people and say, why can't they control their children? Look at my daughter. And then we had Joel. If he had been the first child, he'd been the only child. Trust me. All of my certainties about raising children, they're all gone. And as I've gotten older, as you get older, you just lose a lot of certainties. And let me just say something. That's okay. Because I have less certainties today than I ever have. But the few certainties I have left, I'm more certain about than I ever have been because they've been tested. A faith that hasn't been tested can't be trusted. What we love about Change Your World is we're not going to give you theory. In just a few moments, I'm going to bring up Rob, I'm going to bring up Mark. And we're going to talk to you about Change Your World. And when we talk to you about how to do this, this is not going to be theory because with Rob and our 75 years of experience of trying to help people make changes and bring transformation, we have found the answer. And this gets very exciting to us because we found the answer. And you see, I think that everybody wants to make a difference. I just think that most people don't know how to make a difference. And we're going to show you how you can make a difference. In fact, I want you, you're just going crazy taking notes, but look at your neighbor and just say to them, you can make a difference. I want you to tell them that right now. You can make a difference. In fact, look at them and say, this is why I brought you here. I mean, dear God, this is why you're here. And the certainty that I have is that every one of you can make a difference. And we made this so simple for you because you not only have the book to read, but we have an online presence. You can not only take the assessment of values in your life, but you can go online, go to changeyourworld.com, and we're going to tell you, we're going to give you the lessons you need for your transformation tables. We're going to serve you in every way we can to set you up for success. Let me ask you, how many of you in 2021 would like to make this the year that you know for certain that you made a difference in the lives of other people? How many of you like that one, huh? This is, see, yes, online. I can hear you. I can hear you online right now. I can hear you. And this is exactly what we're going to do. So when I'm ready to lead people during a difficult time, 5 questions. I've given you 4. What do I feel? What do I see? What do I think? What do I know? Question number 5. What do I do? What do I do? Because leaders have a bias for action. And what they know is the way to help people during a difficult time is not to just sit back and worry and fret. Hey, you and I have a choice to make right now in the world that we live. We can either curse the darkness or we can turn on the light. And Change Your World is all about turning on the light. And we're going to show you where the light switch is. So you can walk into anybody's life and anybody's room and flip on the light and make things brighter for people. And all of a sudden, things begin to, in an incredible, wonderful way, make a positive change. So we're going to call you to action today. We're going to ask you to take an action, because you see, good intentions is the most overrated phrase in the English language. I mean, I know people that say, well, wow, I really wanted, I love, you know what? Someday I'm going to change the world. Do you know people like I know that are always getting ready to get ready? You just say, well, have you gotten started yet? No, but I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. Yeah. Have you done it yet? No, but I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. My dad used to say, give me the little parable, 5 frogs were on a log, 4 decided to jump off. He said, son, how many frogs are left? I'd say 1. He said, no, 5. He said, just because you decide to jump doesn't mean you did. The smallest action is greater than the greatest intention. And what we're doing today in Change Your World is we're going to ask you to take the smallest action. An action that every one of you online can take, an action that every one of you in the auditorium here in Houston can take. We're asking you to take an action. And Mark Cole, who's the CEO of the John Maxwell Enterprise, who oversees everything and makes my life so incredibly beautiful because he handles all of the leadership load. Somebody has to work. And Rob Hoskins, who has proven for years to be able to help people make positive change in their life. They're going to come on stage, and we are now going to focus on this great opportunity that all of us have to change our world starting today. So, would you give Mark and would you give Rob a big hand? Come on up, guys. We're glad you're here. How we doing, huh? My gosh, I'm so glad you guys are up here to join us. How we doing, Mark?
Excellent.
Mark, you're kind of the leader of the group. You're the boss. So, why don't you just kind of take off and?
Well, let me do that first by saying that Robin Gwen is tuning in from Canada, and she's ready to change Canada.
Oh, I love that.
And Kwambar is calling in from Pakistan, where it is 3:01 a.m. Good morning, Kwambar.
Wow. He wanted to show up, didn't he?
Sophie's from Cambodia at 5:01 a.m. Good morning to you as well. The early bird gets the worm. Ako is from Rwanda. It's midnight. Good night. Might be time to go to bed.
Yeah. Don't go to sleep on us. Not yet. Don't go to sleep on us.
And then Rosemary is tuning in from Jamaica, where you guys wish we were going instead of Bismarck, North Dakota.
Wait. Did you hear where he's taking us after we leave here? Bismarck.
Yeah, but John, I remember
North Dakota.
I remember when we were planning, you said Bahamas, and he heard Bismarck.
I know. I also said Grand Cayman, and he took us to Grand Rapids.
In January.
In January. I wrote a book. Now, I wrote a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leaders. Let me just ask you, how many of you have that book, huh? Look at it. Look at all the people that have this book. And in that book, because you have it, you know I have a law called the law of timing. Mark. You missed that law. You have us going to North Dakota in January. Now, you can lead us, but don't ask any timing questions. Because if you ask any timing questions, we're gonna make you answer that yourself. Okay.
Let's focus. Okay. Okay. So all of these.
He wants you to focus. You understand?
I'm focused.
All of these women and men are asking the question, what's next? I want to change my country. What's next? I want to change my world. What's next? And I'll tell you, you're going to have a chance here in Houston to meet the authors, get a book in the back. But for all of you online, you're in this little window. We got you, and we're going to answer the question. Go to the website, Change Your World, get a book, because that's the first step. And speaking of this book, John, I've been with you for 21 years, and I've watched you write now many, many books, 86 total. Less than 5 are co-authored. Why co-author this book, and why with Rob Hoskins?
Well, in fact, this is just my third book
Yeah.
that I've co-authored. And the reason that I wanted to co-author the book with Rob is because I need help. I mean, I need a lot of help, because the book of transformation and changing your world is bigger than me. And so I wanted to, with integrity, give you a book that would have the very best. And so when you want to put the very best, you go to somebody that's the best. And Rob has he's done it better than I, longer than I, been more successful than I. And so it was kind of like, okay, if I'm going to write a book on transformation, I want to write it with somebody that can help me. And when you read the book, literally, you'll go through some chapters where Rob's hand is all over that, because he's just really come and he's helped us. And I just want to say to you, you need help too. We all need help. One is too small of a number to achieve greatness. Are you with me? So whenever I run into somebody and they say they're a self-made person, I always say, well, I'm so sorry. Because if you made everything yourself, you haven't made much. And so what we did is we came together, and I got the best from him, he got the best from me, and hopefully we've given the best to you. But there is nobody that I would rather write a book on transformation as much as you, Rob. Give him a hand. Thanks for helping me. Thank you. Thank you for helping.
Rob, you believe in transformation so much that 1.7 billion children was not enough. You decided to do your doctoral dissertation on transformation. And yet John asked you to write this popular book. And why did you take that route?
He just asked me, why did you write a book with John Maxwell? That's what you got.
He really isn't too smart.
Yeah,
Hey, I'll bet he'll take us to Bismarck, North Dakota before this day. So. I just bet he will. I'll bet we're going to
did you
Bismarck.
Did you hear the question? I don't know why play golf with Jack Nicklaus. I mean, Michael Jordan asked me to play basketball with him the other day. No, I don't want to play with you, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's John Maxwell. There we go, right? How's that?
Oh, shoot.
And it's true. We were sitting on a boat in Fort Lauderdale, and we were having a great time. And John's been mentoring me for years. He's poured so much into my life. I just owe this man so much. And we were talking about a subject, particularly within the last 4 or 5 years, that have just consumed us. Whenever we're together, this is what we talk about. We talk about transformation. Transformation from the point of how can we really add value to people? How can we see things change in people's reality, in their lives, in their situation, in their personal life, in their family life, in their communities, and we were on that subject, and I just finished a dissertation on this subject that's been just, and we not only have talked about it, we've actually worked together with our two organizations. We've created some incredible programs together where we were measuring the impact and the change, and what we were seeing was just
wonderful.
We were kind of just high-fiving each other on the boat, just so excited about all that had been happening, and I'd come out with this, and I was sharing what I had learned and what I had written, but I told John, I said, John, this is an academic work. I said, probably be lucky if 5 people read a dissertation, with all that's in there. And I just said, but John, I really want to know as my mentor, I said, is there something of value here that we can pass on? And on the front cover of the book, by the way, it says how anyone, anywhere can make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's what I was passionate about.
Absolutely.
And I just said, John, is there a popular book here? Is there a book where we can take this information, this process, and what we've learned, and make it accessible to everybody? And John paused and he goes, Rob, there is. There's so much here we've learned together, and there is a popular book here. And then he paused for a moment and he said, can I write it with you? I sat there kind of stunned for a moment, and then I said, let me think about it. Yes. I said, he says it took me 2.2 seconds. I can guarantee you it didn't take me that long. It was immediate. It was like, of course.
You were real slow. Trust me.
Mark, you were there. It was not that long. But
well, he's slow too. Don't ask him about it. Hello.
I'm not being drawn into this discussion.
You're going to stay out of this one, are you?
I am. Let me get you guys.
But he is going to take us to Bismarck.
yeah.
By the way, Bonnie, thank you. She just bought 5 books for her and her team. Bonnie, is Bonnie not caught the vision right here, gang?
Right. Oh,
way to go, Bonnie.
That's great.
Hey, so you guys were really excited about the idea of transformation. And I got to remind everybody, 1.7 billion kids, that's wide, 1.2 million kids today in school, well, yesterday, it's Friday, yesterday was Friday, 1.2 million in the middle of their school day learning values every single week of their school year. You guys are doing transformation like this, but yet there was a transformation at the anyone, anywhere mindset that started as a seed in you, transformation that you had. I'd love to hear just a little bit of a story of transformation that you may have experienced at the personal level that caught the vision of anybody can experience transformation.
Well, the thing that makes the book so appetizing to me is anybody, anywhere, and we would say anytime can make a difference. As we open the book, we talk about hope, and we say that hope has 2 beautiful daughters, anger and courage. Anger at the way things are, and courage to make a difference. And what I know is that all of us that I'm talking to online or here today, there's a certain anger that we look at our world and we say, our world should not be like this. We're better than this. We're better than this. But that's cursing the darkness. What I love about the book is it's about courage. And it's about people anywhere, anytime, having the courage to say, I think I will make a difference. And what we love is it's where you are. We're not asking Washington to make a difference because we don't really think they will. We're saying we're going to make a difference where we are right here in our world. And so, Rob, when we wrote this book of hope, you gave us in this book so many incredible hope stories of people whose lives were changed. And just take a moment and share.
Well, the whole premise of the book is about creating transformation through values.
Yeah.
It's all about the values that, and there's 25 transformational values that we really feel are essential. And for one thing, that's why we put the assessment in there, which is what we want you to do. As soon as right now, you go after we're done here and take that values assessment, and it's around these 25 values. Which one of them are strong in my life? Which ones do I still need in order to make a difference in my world? And someone asked me the other day, they said, of the 25 values, which one is your favorite? And so I run an organization called One Hope, so you could probably guess which my value is. It's hope, you know? And why hope is such a powerful value, and just as an example of one of the 25, you know, when we think about hope, we mainly think about it as an emotion. You know, I feel hopeful, but optimism is an emotion. But hope, if you really break it down, is an action. There is no hope without action. And there are actually 3 characteristics of hope that we talk about in the book, and we break down these values, and we have all the material. Even we couldn't fit it all in the book, so the Change Your World platform goes way, way deeper on those transformational values. Because let me tell you, we want people to go deep, but on the issue of hope, there are these 3 characteristics, and the first characteristic is goals. You got to have goals. If you don't have goals, then there really is no hope. It is just an emotion. It's not an action. The second characteristic is actually to have some willpower. You've got to be inspired, and as a leader, you've got to inspire others. You have to pass on that hope by creating inspiration, and that's another reason why I was just so excited about John writing the book, because to me, he's just I don't just believe, so many others, that he is the most inspirational communicator that we've ever seen in our lifetime. And so to inspire people, this is Mr. Willpower to me. And just him doing this is really going to catalyze, I believe, a whole thing, willpower. But the third characteristic of hope is actually way power. You've got to be able to see a pathway in order for hope to rise in your heart.
Yeah.
And so we teach these in the book, and we talk about outcomes, Mark. We talk about how these transformational values, actually, if we do them through the process that we've created, are going to create tangible change that we can measure in people's life. In fact, we have an index for hope. If you take a hope index, and we actually see that people apply the principle of hope in their life, we actually have proven that your score on a hope for graduating seniors that score high on the hope index, it's a higher indicator of success in college than SAT scores.
That's powerful.
You see, these values are the things that drive us towards transformation. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but I want to provide more hope. I want to provide more value and see the world around me change. So the way for all of us to do that, as John has said, is not wait for others. It's for us to begin to see transformation in our own life, and then to be looking at those around us and say, you know what, I want to see my family transformed. I want to see my neighborhood, my community transformed. I want to see my city transformed. Yeah. And the premise of the book is that the answer to that is fully available to anyone, anywhere, if they'll activate those transformational values. And we wanted to make it, John from the very beginning said, Rob, we got to make it simple. Yeah. And we have. John said, I know what's going to happen. We're going to inspire people. Mm-hmm. We're going to give them a way. We're going to give them pathways. And then they're going to come back and they're going to ask us, now what do I do? And he said, we're going to make it real simple. Read the book. Get the information. Go take the assessment. And then get in a values roundtable. Begin to pour these values into people's lives. And then we can guarantee that people activating those values is going to bring transformation into their world. That's why I'm so excited about this, and why I believe it's really a movement that we're a part of.
That's beautiful.
That is.
Absolutely.
Are you good if I go to some questions from our online community?
Sure, absolutely.
And maybe there's one or two questions here that you might have. In fact, I'm going to butcher this name. Is Medel Baroma in the room? I'll say the name wrong. Where,
yes,
right here?
Yes, right there.
Okay, you get the first question because, John, she has bought 1,500 plus books for their company to get started with Change Your World.
Come on.
So, Barum, you get to ask the first question, Medel. You do, and here's the first question. But while she's coming up, and I'll let you greet her in just a moment.
That's amazing.
It is.
She can go to North Dakota with us.
Get on.
So we're going to come right back to you, Medell. Give me 1 second. I want to ask you this question from Chizoba. She says, how do you get yourself to continue moving and thriving when you have lost your focus and passion to move on? I think there's a lot of leaders.
I think a lot of people, you're right, Mark, I think a lot of people feel that. In fact, you and I have talked about the discouragement among leaders. And let me just say this, because I write, and I get up very early. I don't use alarm. I just get up about 5, and I go to my office, and I start writing. And people say, John, you're very disciplined in your life to be able to do that. And I said, no, not really. What gets me up at 5 in the morning to start writing is anticipation. When I go and get my legal pad and my 4-color pen out and I start writing by hand, I anticipate that I'm going to help people and add value to you. Now, just let me get excited just for a moment. I'll give me 30 seconds to get excited, then I'll sit right back down. Change Your World is going to begin to fill your life up with anticipation. Because you're going to do a transformation table with 6 or 8 people, and you're going to start discussing values, and by about the 3rd week, you're going to begin to feel the change in the group. And what happens is the moment you feel that change, and you begin to see that those lives begin to turn and start to move in the right way, you're going to be so thrilled that now your life, when you do this transformation table, you'll go into it with excitement because you know you're going to help people. Can I ask you a question? If you knew that today you could do something and say something that would really help somebody, how many of you could get excited about doing something that would really help somebody? Of course you could. Of course you could. And Change Your World is going to give you that way. So look at your neighbor while I now settle down and go back and sit in my chair and calm myself. Look at your neighbor and say, you're going to help people. Go ahead and tell them that. You're going to help people.
You're going to help people.
You're going to help
We're going to help
people. We're going to help people. Mark,
going to help people.
High five me. Forget about her for a moment.
No, I've still got my mind on Medell over here.
Help people.
Come up and ask a question, Medell, and tell me how bad I'm butchering your name first. Hey, but have you ever heard you can't be in 2 places at one time? She's in Houston, and she's on the online community, too. You're amazing. I can't.
I can't hear you.
That's all right. We'll hear you in a moment.
Help is on the way.
Don't
right
you
here.
love that? Immediately somebody gets up there and helps. That is so good.
Can you hear me?
We
Why
can.
didn't the rest of you people jump up there? Why were you so slow? My gosh.
Yes, we truly believe that the books would really help our organization. And of course, I talked to you, Mr. John Maxwell, a while ago, because I will be introducing you in our event next month. 1,000 agents will be listening to you live.
That's awesome.
So that would be next month, and I'm excited for that. And meeting you in person, it's really exciting. Yes.
Thank you. I can see. She's full of anticipation.
Yes. So maybe personal questions. So going back to daily habits, Mr. John Maxwell, even before you started this cause, this mission, so what can you share for your daily habits in order for you to get to this leadership that you have right now, how you inspire people, changing the world, and creating that momentum, because I know there are leaders out there, they have their certain daily habits, but it's kind of like they're being, it's hard to wait for momentum, for breakthrough. What daily habits can you share that could inspire them, to build their leadership?
Great.
So she's very excited. There's a real bad echo up here, so I'm going to interpret for you. She said that, one, she's very excited about you coming to speak for 1,000 agents in a month or so.
I'm looking forward to that.
But you're so good about leadership transformation. What can you tell us about daily habits, and what are some daily habits that help you with changing the world and creating transformation?
Oh, it's a fabulous question. There are 2 books that I've written that will answer that question very well. One is Today Matters. It's also under a different title now called Make Today Count. And basically I talk about 12 decisions that every day I try to make that will allow me to make the most of that day. And the second book is called Intentional Living. And Intentional Living is one of my top favorite books because it basically Intentional Living says that when you and I are intentional, we begin to be very productive. Most people don't lead their life, they accept their life. And intentional living is all about how do you and I consciously lead our life. And so what I share with people all the time is if you want to make today count, be intentional about the things that you do every day. For example, every day I do 5 things. Every day I value people. Every day I think of ways to add value to people. Every day I look for ways to add value to people. Every day I do things that add value to people. And every day I encourage others to add value to people. I do that every day of my life. In the morning, I ask myself the question, who can I add value to? In the evening, I ask myself the question, who did I add value to? That's intentional. If you'll do that, you'll make today count, and you'll really maximize that day. And thank you for what, 1,500?
1,500 plus.
1,500 plus books? Oh my gosh. We may call you saint before the day's over. You come around and see me. I got to make sure I get a picture with you. And I'll be with your people next month. That'll be exciting.
Rob, I want to ask you a question. We've got time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions, but there's a question that Jessica Dunnigan asks. Because of COVID, our church community has decreased. Would this book be a good reboot for our members?
Wow, absolutely. I was reading yesterday about the top searches on the web in 2020. And it frankly kind of surprised me because as I was looking through, I saw that one of the top searches was, how do we change the world? One of the top searches. How do we change the world? In fact, it had double the amount of searches as, how do we go back to normal?
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
You see, I think we hear so much bad news right now, and rightfully so. I mean, there's been a lot of bad news. I mean, I had one of my staff members in South Africa that died of COVID this week. We've been through a lot of pain. It can knock the will out of us. But when I saw that, something sort of rose up inside of me, and I think most people, going back to normal, hey, listen, normal's not that great.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I think maybe people are waking up to the idea of change. And I think they're looking for people to lead them into change. I also just read that 78% of people would give up their Netflix subscription to take up a meaningful hobby. I think people are they're sort of trapped in normal. And whether you're a church or whether you run a company or whether you have a bunch of agents, I think what people are looking for is leaders that will give them a vision to bring about change in their lives. And I think that's possible.
Yeah, that's good.
For anyone, anywhere.
Gosh, that's right.
There's a question here. I'd love to answer this question. We're about out of time. Love to answer this question, then let you guys say anything you would like to kind of close out the program today. But it really goes to Lisa Range, your question. And you said, how do you know where to start? And it reminds me, guys, of a question that we've gotten a couple of times. And it reminds me, Rune from Finland, or Norway rather, John, just said, I'm looking forward to receiving my 8 Change Your World books and starting my first table in Norway.
Beautiful. Bless you, bless you.
And Lisa, I come back to you because that question is the question. That's the question that Greg asked yesterday when he said, I want a transformation table culture in my organization. And we do believe. John said, keep it simple. Rob said, give us an outcomes platform. And I believe our team has been able to answer this question you have, Lisa, of what do we do? And we've simplified it by saying, buy the book, take the assessment, and start and join the movement. And it really is that simple. We've had this week already, we've had thousands. I think the number now is 6,500 that has taken the assessment to get a free report back on where they compare to John and Maxwell's John and Rob's 25. You can give that a hand. Their 25 transformation values. We send out this report, and 100% of the people that have received the report has come back to the Change Your World website and stayed over 7 minutes to figure out what's next. Now, those of you in this world, you know that's a big deal. The world is hungry for this question you're asking, Lisa, what do I do? In fact, we were in Knoxville, Tennessee yesterday. That's where they talk like you and I in Texas. They talk like us, not in Bismarck. They talk like us right here.
That was 2 days ago.
Was it 2 days ago?
It's okay. It's okay. We're going to Bismarck. We're going to Bismarck.
Timing.
Focus. And so we're sitting here, and in the audience was the school superintendent of Knox County. 4,000 educators under his responsibility, and he caught the vision. And he said to John, I've got to get this book into the hands of my educators, because if I want to transform Knox County, I've got to start with the kids, but to get to the kids, I've got to get our teachers to think like that. And we're going to start them, all 4,000, with a book and getting this assessment. But I got to go back and I got to figure out the budget issue. Another leader sitting right over here, guys, sitting right here said,
right during our session.
well, today's your lucky day. I've got your budget concerns handled. I'll buy all 4,000 books if you'll start this week in Knox County. And just like that, 2 people joined to change the school system in Knox County. If that don't fire you up.
That fires you up. Man, I love it.
We were telling that story 2 days ago, 3 weeks ago, 9 months ago. It could have been 2 years. Just kidding. We were telling that story that evening to a group of people, and as we were talking about this story, there was a leader there, Aber is his name. Aber is a guy that goes down and impacts 60 leaders in El Salvador. And he was telling the story, and he said, I've got 60 leaders down there, and they're responsible for 300 students, and I want to get this book in 60 people. He had already said that in the Q&A session. A gentleman, his name was Nathan. He runs Benchmark Mortgage. And Nathan has adopted 7 students from El Salvador. And he said, standing behind him, he said, I'll take care of the 60 books. Let's get the people in El Salvador to begin to change their world. Here's the best part of the story. Right behind him is a lady named Casey, 60 students in her junior high class in Chesterfield, Missouri. She's hearing all of this go down, and she said, hey, can I ask you a question, Aber? She said, my students this year is looking for something to do to the world, to get a worldview and to impact the world. Could we take my 60 students in Chesterfield, Missouri, put them in a round table with the 300 students in El Salvador, and let's create a round table of how kids that speak Spanish and kids that speak English can do something of value in their communities? I said, guess what? We have the environment that will do that. Change Your World is a way, and now we're going to connect 360 students in a round table. It sounds like a big round table. We're going to create 360 students that will make a difference together. Now, here's the final thing. And again, guys, I'll let you close it out with whatever you would like, and we'll say goodbye. Roll Tide is what you'd like to say. Whew. Don't get me started. So here's what I want to tell you. Yes, it is as simple as get a book, take the assessment, start a round table. It truly is. But for some of you that think like leaders in this room, online, like our friend in Finland, in Norway, they're saying, we want to start a round table with more people right now, and we're ready to go. And in this room, we're going to give you an opportunity to do that. We've got books, we've got boxes of books back there that we want you to catch a vision of more than just yourself to change the world. As Rob said earlier, it's going to happen in an environment. For you online, we have over 5,000 of our certified coaches that have been trained to lead a round table with women and men from different parts of the world coming together in a roundtable environment, a transformation table to talk about change your world. All we need is you. All we need is women and men, whether in Houston or all over the world, that'll say, John, Rob, you writing this book is not just about buying a book, it's about joining a movement together. And we're going to give them a chance to do that in just a moment, but I'd love for you guys to clean up anything I need to clean up in that answer.
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, you dream about something for so long. It's been in our hearts for years. As John and I were having the conversation, what we said is we just got to broaden the conversation.
Yeah.
We got to get more people talking about this, because the deep desires we have in our heart, we believe are really in everyone's heart. To see lives change, to see real differences made in people's lives. And so you dream about it. We poured our blood, sweat, and tears into this book over the years. You know, people have been asking me, what's it like writing a book with John Maxwell? Number one, it's hilarious. But number two, it's hard work. Because this guy's relentless. I mean, it's every sentence, every word, every chapter. And you could just see his passion, not for writing a book, but what was going to come out of that book. And so as we were going through that process, our dreams were, yes, we want to write a book, but this has to be more than a book. It has to be a process. We have to build an entire platform in order to, because we make a promise in the 9th chapter of the book.
Yeah, we do.
We were writing it in March when COVID was just hitting, and it sort of heightened our passion that this book would actually do something to change the world that we were living in. And as that passion was on us in that moment, we just said, look, this 9th chapter, we've got to have a call to action. And that call to action was to build this platform. We had to build something where we could, and we make a promise. We say, we're going to go on a journey with you.
Yeah.
And we're going to stick with you wherever you are in all these countries. Whether it's a soccer mom who's one of the people that has already been impacted, who has an autistic child, who says, I need to make a difference in my child's life. And she began to apply these, and now she's seeing other moms come and say, I want to make a difference in their lives. I don't care who you are. Anyone, anywhere can make a difference if they apply these principles. And what I found in the science of transformation is, in order to have a movement, you have to have momentum. And so we've done all this in advance, and then we've been waiting, and it's just been under a week now since we launched all this, and already we're hearing these amazing stories of people who are catching the vision, and they're going out and already doing things that we never even dreamed. I mean, 4,000 teachers in Knoxville. This lady right here, I want to buy it for 1,000 people and see this, and it's just going, and what we find let me tell you, if you want to see momentum, what we're finding in this process is what gets celebrated gets replicated. And these celebrations that we're hearing are just a sign to us that these dreams are coming true, and we are going to launch the greatest transformational movement this world has ever seen. I believe that can happen. And all it takes is for people like you that say, I want to be part of the movement. Here I am. I'm ready to go. Go there, buy the book, take the assessment, get a round table, start adding value to other people's lives, and we're going to see truly some amazing things begin to happen in our world.
Yeah, we are. We sure are. Absolutely. I've written a lot of books, but this is the most important book I've ever written. You know, most times when people read a book of mine, they read it and hopefully it helps them become a better person. But this book is about you helping other people become better. This isn't a book for one person. This is a book for many people. And I love what you said, Mark, about the fact that if you have a table, you're going to have 6 or 8. You're going to say, I'd like to start a transformation table. Get 6 or 8 books. And for you that are here locally, Rob and I are going to go sign, and if you'll just give us the names of the people that you want to put around your table, we'll sign and put their name on it. Think how wonderful it will be for you to go to a table with 6 or 8 of your friends and hand them the book with their name and said, I really want to add value to you, and I want us to help each other, and let's start this table. Think of how significant it'll be for that. And so I just want to encourage you online the same way. I just want you to understand that this book is for you, but it's for more than you. It's for your family. And somebody told me the other day, they said, we're going to start with our family. We're going to start with our own children. We want them to have these values. And so what Rob and Mark and I want you to know as we wrap all this up is that we wrote the book because we believe that you can change your world. And our belief is so much in you that we not only wrote you the book, but we have all these free assessments, everything. You go online. You go on, the material is free. You can pull it together. You can get your transformation tables going. And if you're in the classroom, over 1.5 million children are now taking these values, going through these values tables. And in Guatemala, the Secretary of Education said within 3 weeks, school teachers now are seeing the change in their children's lives because they're studying values. So if you homeschool, or if you've got a, if you're a teacher anywhere, we just want to encourage you to begin to put these values in the lives of kids. And Mark and Rob and I will do our best. We will do our best to serve you and add value to you. And together, let's change our world. What do you say, huh?
Help me thank John Maxwell and Rob Hoskins. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. And for all of you watching online, Houston, help me thank them for coming into Houston tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, and so you can stay standing. We are done, but thank you in Houston. And I know you just said this online, which is going to get me in trouble, but you said that you would sign every book of, if they buy a box of books, you guys